Kids are in bed?
Kids are in bed.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 42 of The Kids Are in Bed. I'm Tim Severson, and this is Jenni Severson. Jenni, how you doing?
Howdy.
Howdy. Ma'am?
How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm just so great, thanks.
Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. What's new?
What's new? I had a Thanksgiving celebration with some friends this weekend.
Yeah.
It was really fun. I don't know if you've heard of this. It's called Friendsgiving.
Oh, that's fun. What will they think of next?
I know these people are so creative.
For fun. So,
For fun.
This Friendsgiving, what'd you do?
Well, we had food and played, but let's start over. We had food and the children played.
Got it.
The children played. But I was in charge of cranberries. Do you know what I made?
No.
Cocktails! Nobody wants cranberries.
You should have made something with lingerberry sauce.
I don't know what a lingerberry is.
It's not a real thing. I think it's
Do
a
you have to let it linger?
I think, but there's a berry that's like something like that.
I made two different, some cranberry Moscow mules and some cranberry rosé spritzer type situation.
Wonderful.
It was flowing.
It's great.
Mm-hmm. There is.
Did you have a charcuterie board?
I made the cutest charcuterie cups. Thank you for highlighting those. They were so cute. The cutest charcuterie cups.
Where did you get the idea for your charcuterie cups?
TikTok or Instagram.
Instagram?
Probably Instagram. I try not to go on the TikToks too much because I get quite addicted.
Yeah.
It was probably an Instagram reel.
Yeah, they looked wonderful.
And they were delicious. They were adorable and tasty.
Man.
Highly recommend.
Very good idea. Very good idea. Would you like me to feature a picture?
Oh, sure. Okay. Feel free.
I'll make it the thumbnail for the episode.
Okay. What did you do?
I went to Brainerd, Minnesota to be disappointed with the rest of the country by what I knew was already knew was going to be disappointing, the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fight. The best part of it was they interviewed Mike Tyson, and I don't even remember exactly what they asked him, but his answer was very short. And then he just turned around and walked away from the interview, and he wasn't wearing any shorts. He was just wearing like whatever kind of jock strap they wear under. So it was just Mike Tyson's butt cheeks. And you know how it was Netflix, right? So it's not like urgent, but I think it was not exactly the programming they wanted, given that it was free for everybody who had Netflix. And so there's that moment when you could see the cameraman flinch because he knew what was happening, but he didn't know exactly what he should do. So he goes like this, but then they just cut away. That was the best part. Other than that, it was we watched half of it on our phone because it wasn't working over internet, but somehow over cell networks it was working.
Interesting.
It was very chaotic, and then it ended up just being very sad. Mike Tyson is 58 years old. So
yeah, sad.
Yeah.
Why did he do that?
I haven't seen it, but I saw a reference about his post-fight presser. He was basically I needed the money.
Oh.
And he was gassed. I mean, it was tough. It was a tough watch. So
that makes me sad.
Yeah, I know. Jake Paul's super cool, and he beat up an old guy. It was super, super cool. He's such an athlete. But that's what's so ridiculous about the whole thing is they sell it like it's going to be possible. Mm-hmm. But in the back of my mind, and what they're selling is everybody wants to see Tyson win, not solely because it's Mike Tyson, but also because Jake Paul is Jake Paul. And so they're selling everybody on just
nobody likes Jake Paul.
I think everybody was hoping for the Miracle on Ice kind of situation.
Oh.
Maybe really early he'll swing hard and something fun will happen. Yeah. But once that passed, it was kind of clear. So yeah, I was up in Brainerd, and I took a very fantastic picture of a full moon.
really excited about that photo you took.
It's an amazing picture. Somebody's going to see it someday and be interested. I showed everybody I was watching the fight with, and that was a mistake. It did not. I think smart people, intelligent people will appreciate it.
Oh, I hope so.
It looks like it could have been taken in the day somehow.
Cool.
Shut up.
It's a gorgeous picture. And we would all be so lucky to have a copy for ourselves.
Yeah, well, I think it's a special picture. That's what I think. The other thing that happened when I was up there, I was driving the morning when I was leaving. I was going to see my parents. And but the morning after the fight, when we were going to my brother's restaurant, my brother had stayed the night with us because we were up late having cocktails. And when I got ready to go to his restaurant to eat lunch to go put on my shoes, I couldn't find my shoes. And the only shoes that were there that weren't mine were a size 9.5 that belonged to my brother, which means that my brother wore my size 11 shoes home, leaving me with shoes that I could not fit on my feet.
Yikes. That is a pickle.
Luckily, my friend Tony has the same size feet, and so I wore his shoes around. But when I left his house, I was like, oh, I can't take his shoes and leave them at my brother's house because I brought my brother's shoes to him at the restaurant, and he goes, oh, well, mine are at my house, so you can go get those whenever you... That's really nice and generous of you to open your home for my shoes. So I had to drive in my bare feet or my socks.
You drove in your socks?
Yeah.
Oh my, that doesn't seem safe.
Did
they have grippers on the bottom?
No grippers. I've got pretty powerful toes. Yeah, and as I was at a intersection, it was like at a T at a highway, a few cars go by. One of them was a truck. And out of nowhere, the driver just leans over the steering wheel and was just aggressively flipping me off. It's just like, okay.
Do you think he could tell that you weren't wearing shoes?
Oh, that could be.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
Could be it.
It's possible. He had just a sense for it. Mm-hmm. No, I don't know. They drove ahead of me for a while.
Maybe you were driving like a jerk.
I was at a stop sign. Like I literally had no option to annoy them. Because I had literally just come to a stop at a stop sign. That didn't affect them. I didn't try to pull out. I didn't do anything. It was like 8 a.m. I was just sitting there minding my own business. And they just did not like me. So I don't know. Maybe they don't like Mazdas.
That could be.
Anyways. And this weekend we booked our Thanksgiving plans.
Yay, Thanksgiving plans.
We have decided to completely disregard tradition.
Say ya.
And we are, well, not completely, but we are going to spend Thanksgiving Day riding water slides at the Wisconsin Dells.
Mm-hmm. What every kid wants to do on Thanksgiving.
And I'm having a bit of flash panic, but I imagine it would be very advertised on the website that if the water park was closed on Thanksgiving. Can you fucking imagine?
No, it's not. I looked at the calendar.
Okay,
it's
good.
Open.
Okay, good. Can you imagine, though?
Yeah.
That would just be...
Actually, that is kind of sad, though. People have to work. That makes me kind of sad.
I think, didn't we realize when we went to Noah's Ark when we were there that a lot of them were like... a lot of like the lifeguards were like exchange students.
Oh, yeah.
They were like college age kids, but a lot of them had various accents. And we were like, oh, they must like, but I don't know. That probably wouldn't work in the fall though. That was summer. It makes sense.
Yeah. Well,
anyways, that's what we're doing. So we are going to do a little mini Thanksgiving.
I am so excited about Thanksgiving.
On Sunday prior.
Because the best thing is you're letting us put up our Christmas tree.
On Sunday.
You never let us put up our Christmas tree until after Thanksgiving. But since we're not having Thanksgiving, we get to do it early.
It's my concession since we'll be going to the Gopher game on Black Friday at 11 a.m. That's how all this started. I had a thought originally where I was like, maybe I'll just wake up early with Jude and we'll drive to Madison in the morning and then turn around. And then I was like, well, if we're going to do that, we could probably I could take him to Wisconsin Dells. And then I had a couple of cocktails and voiced that out loud. And you're like, well, we're all going to Wisconsin Dells for Thanksgiving now.
You can't throw ideas out in the air
I
around
know.
me.
Drunk Tim is very often writing checks that sober Tim can't cash. So here we go.
Wisconsin Dells, you could cash it.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be great.
You could cash it.
No, I'm very excited. We're we're going to the Wilderness Resort.
Never been. First time.
Seems like there's lots of fun to be had.
I'm excited. I'm actually really excited.
Yeah, but Wisconsin Dells is a weird drive for me. It's one of those drives that is, I don't know. I was thinking about it and see if you agree with me on this. If a drive is 3 hours or more, you're into road trip territory.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Feels like kind of like how if you go over 2 hours in a movie, it starts to feel like, should this have been a series? Mm-hmm. Should this have been a couple of parts and not just a really, 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 really long movie?
Looking at you, Marty.
Yeah, I wasn't going to point any fingers. So I got thinking about road trips. We've taken a lot of them. I actually did some work on that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
okay.
But first, I want to just talk about growing up. Were you a road tripping family?
So my parents weren't road tripping parents, but my grandparents. Wait a minute. Do you have to be in a car for it to be a road trip?
No.
Okay. Because my grandparents took us on a lot of road trips in the motorhome, but not with my mom and dad.
Got it.
I don't think I ever went on a road trip with my mom and dad that I can remember.
Got it.
But tons and tons and tons.
So that's a. I mean, it's still a road trip, but that's a different road trip because you got to move about the cabin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think you're supposed to do that anymore, but in the 80s and 90s, you sure could.
I don't know what the laws are.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm sure the law is you're supposed to be buckled, but it's
yeah. We were.
Yeah, that is fun. And
you don't hear a lot about entire families perishing in motorhome accidents. So the risk is pretty low, seems.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's only pretty low for the entire family to die.
Just the one who's got smashed into the fridge is the only one who died?
Yeah. Well, it's whoever is drunkest in the back and wasn't bracing themselves for the crash.
Drunkest? It's families in motorhomes.
Yeah, but if I'm not the one driving and you're driving, I'm definitely setting it up so you're driving.
Well, that's certainly illegal.
Time for me to have a cocktail.
That is certainly illegal in 49 states.
Explain every tour bus going around the country right now. If the driver's sober.
Oh. Okay.
I mean, really, what's the harm? I think technically it's also illegal, but
you're right. You're right. It is totally fine. Yeah.
I mean,
party buses you can drink on.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Okay, I might be telling lies over here. It just seems wrong. You shouldn't drink on your family road trip.
Man, you should see the news clips of when they started taking away drinking alcohol while you drove, in Tennessee, and people are like, I can't even imagine.
Any attempt to restrict drinking and driving here is viewed by some as downright undemocratic.
It's kind of getting common is when a fella can't put in a hard day's work, put in 11, 12 hours a day, and then get in your truck and at least drink 1 or 2 beers.
They're making it laws where you can't drink when you want to, You have to wear a seatbelt when you're driving. And pretty soon we're going to be calm this country.
What's coming next? These people are like, I'm never going to stop drinking beer in my car. That's that. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, party bus. I mean, if you...
Can't you have open container in some states?
I think
so. While you drive, even.
There might be a couple that are still left. It's not very many anymore, but there might be a couple.
Yeah. Anyways.
I believe Montana was.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure in Montana. I don't know if that's telling lies, though.
So that kind of changes things because...
Yeah, I don't know if that counts as a road trip.
Well, it does. It just, like when the longest one I remember doing, and I'm sure there were longer that I don't remember, but we once went from upstate New York to Hilton Head, and we went in a van, and my sister brought a friend. So we had a full van for that entire trip, and that's a long one. It's probably like 20 hours, I think.
What?
Yeah.
It is?
I think so.
No way.
Yeah. I mean, it's
geography's hard.
6 to get to the city. So and then after that, I mean, I don't know. It's which you don't really go exactly that way, but I would guess it's 18 to 20 hours, but I could be wrong.
Well, 18 is what we did
right.
pretty much every year for almost 20 years.
Yeah.
Maybe like 15, 16 years.
Yeah. Well, we started flying at some point. So,
we did start flying.
But what I was thinking about was like road games, but you didn't play those in a motorhome because you had games.
We had tables.
Yeah, you had games.
Yeah.
But like
we definitely played.
Like look out the window, like spot, like bingo kind of, or I Spy kind of things.
We also played this one where when you'd go through a city, that you had to hold your breath in a tunnel.
Oh, yeah.
And duck your head when you go under a bridge.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, those kind of, yeah. We always play, or on that one trip, I can remember we played, like, it was Mac. And I think we played that as a family when we go on trips. It was like when you saw a truck, Mac truck, and then you'd punch the ceiling or the top of the cabin.
Not familiar with that one.
Yeah, it was, that game was very similar to like,
Padiddle?
Padiddle. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Glad you mentioned it. Padiddle. What does that even mean?
Padiddle. It means padiddle.
Yeah. So its first appearance was in a Archie comic.
Just diving right in.
This is just a little one. His first appearance was in like an Archie comic, but people kind of credit it with being like a East Coast, New Jersey, Pennsylvania kind of thing. And then they go, it's like diddle, meaning to aimlessly pass time kind of. And so they think it's just like, because the game was, you spot a car with one headlight and then that was also the thing. You hit the ceiling of the car kind of deal.
That's not what we did. We did the dashboard.
Sure. Yeah.
It was like this.
Yeah.
That's what you had to do. Or the back of, if you weren't in the front seat.
Yeah, you did it on the headrest.
On the back. But there was no hitting of the ceiling.
Yeah. So, but when it was in the Archie comic, that wasn't the game. So it turns out like the original way you played the game was if you see one, the first person to say it gets a kiss. Oh. Turns out there was also a version where if you were the first one to see one, then you got to, or the other person, if you were with another person, had to take off an article of clothing.
Oh, my dear Lord. Archie.
Hey, diddle, diddle.
Inappropriate.
I know. So yeah, that's I've never heard that version of the game before, or
Can't
heard
say
about
that
that.
I have myself.
I know.
Usually, I think it's played with young families.
Yes. Yes. I would agree.
Like, what kind of like adults driving around with other adults do you know that are just driving around playing road games.
Well, I think it was like teenagers back in the 40s and 50s.
Driving to the drive-in.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I got it.
Yeah.
Okay. That checks out.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, interesting that you were picturing adults.
I guess when I read Archie, he was an adult.
You know, a lot of adults playing Padiddle, even the conventional way.
I mean, like my dad played it. He was an adult, I think. I get really confused about age. You told me this week that Laura Dern was 25.
Yeah. In Jurassic
Park, and it literally exploded my brain into 1,000 pieces.
For real.
I definitely remember my dad playing it, and he was an adult.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think it's because when I read Archie comics, I was a kid, and to me, Archie and his friends, I thought they were adults.
No, they're high school.
Yeah.
Interesting.
They were grown-ups to me, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. That's how I feel about everybody. Everybody's older than me. Almost immediately. I'm just like, God. So I did my best to tabulate our road trips.
Okay.
And would you believe, and I think this might even be shorting it, but I just took the major ones. So, major ones. We have Bozeman, Montana twice, Winnipeg, Canada twice, Kansas City, then from Kansas City to Northern New York. And then Northern New York via South Bend, via Niagara Falls, via Sarnia and Montreal, and Chicago a couple of times, and Madison. Those are the ones that I kind of counted up.
And the times that we just went straight to New York, did you count those ones?
Yeah.
Oh, yep. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So might have shorted it, but with that all in there, that comes to 26,000 miles. That's also 2,000 more than the Earth's circumference.
Oh, okay.
So we have road tripped around the world.
Yeah, we have. Woo! I'm proud of that statistic.
It's the equivalent of 9 round trips from New York City to Los Angeles.
That's not as impressive. I don't find that worth high-fiving at all.
It's 10.9% of the way to the moon.
Oh, okay. Now we're back. Good.
New York to London, 7.5 times. Does that do anything for you?
No.
Okay.
Sure doesn't.
And then I decided we probably averaged over the course of all of those miles, probably an average of like 60 miles an hour when you factor in detours, slowdowns, things like that. That means that we have on road trips spent roughly, just in those ones, 434 hours in the car together. That's 18.1 days.
Wow.
We could watch the entire 20 seasons of Grey's Anatomy in that amount of time.
Let's do it.
And have some to spare.
I'm in.
So that's a lot of time we've spent in a car. But you know what's funny is it's a lot, but when you break it down, it's like 18 days. It doesn't really seem like it.
Yeah. I think there's some people who spend 18 days straight in a car with somebody.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
That's why I really liked the statistics that made it sound cool. Because some of them were kind of lame, if I'm being honest. It does seem like more. Are you sure you counted all of them? All the times we drove to New York?
I think so,
It's like, how many times was it in your calculation?
I think I had like 7 or 8.
We definitely have driven to New York more than 7 or 8 times.
So I shorted it. So it might be more like 30,000.
Yeah, okay, that sounds better.
Okay, 30,000. Yeah, but so that got me thinking too. There are a lot of great road trip movies. It seems that being sequestered into a car is ripe for dialogue. I would guess that's why it's used so much.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. Lady Bird.
Yes.
I don't think it was a road trip, but she had like a very important dialogue with her mom in the car, and then she like jumps out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that wasn't really a road trip.
I just said that.
Oh.
I literally started my story by saying it's not really a road trip. I think.
Yeah.
Check the tape.
I think you did too. Any road trip movies come to mind for you?
Road trip?
That's a good one. It's a very good one. My favorite quote is,
"It's supposed to be a challenge. That's why they call it a shortcut. If it was easy, it would just be the way."
All right. Is that
he's
the
the one.
Smarty Pants one?
Yeah.
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 I like him.
Mm-hmm.
No, I actually can't really think of any road trip movies.
So I did the same thing. I in my brain, I was like, road trip movies are everywhere, but I can't think of any.
Mm-hmm.
But then,
National Lampoons.
Vacation.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good
That's
stuff.
a road trip, right?
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
It is. Any other ones?
I think Green Book is a road trip.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen it.
Oh, great.
Is Crossroads a road trip?
With Britney Spears?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it.
Oh, okay.
Is it about a road trip?
I
Am I only supposed to say movies I've seen? I thought you asked me for movies
No,
with road trips.
I was just thinking what it made you, if any came to mind. I didn't think it would bring to mind a bunch of movies you've never seen before. See if you know any of these.
Okay.
So I had Practical Magic.
Practical Magic?
Don't they go on a road trip? Aren't they
Road
driving?
trip? I don't think so.
Don't they go to get the boyfriend, ex-boyfriend do something?
Oh.
Aren't they on a road trip? Isn't that the whole movie?
Yeah, it's not the whole movie.
It's a large
It's a part of.
portion.
Yeah, okay, I'll give it to you.
No?
I'll give it to you.
I always think about them in the car for some reason. In that
Interesting.
movie.
I don't think about them in the car at all in that movie.
Oh yeah, and they like stop and they.
I think about margaritas in the kitchen.
Interesting.
And I think about the scene like out in the garden in the yard.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Okay, strike that one. That's my that's my ladybird.
Okay. I'll give it to you.
But then I have Vacation, both of those Dumb and Dumber, Tommy Boy, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Me, Myself, and Irene.
Oh God!
If you want to get technical about it, I don't know if you can call this one a road trip, but I was thinking too, like Almost Heroes with Matthew Perry and Chris Farley.
A foot trip.
Wagon trip. These
are all terrible movies, though.
What the fuck did you just say to me?
Watch your language in front of the lady, punk!
When you said that was ripe for dialogue, I thought you were talking about like good dialogue.
Well,
not
no.
garbage.
I wasn't. No. I was saying the car in general in movies, not specifically road trip movies.
Okay.
A lot takes place within cars, and I think it's because it's where natural dialogue can occur.
Okay.
Road trip movies, no, I don't. I mean, no.
These movies are not ripe with dialogue.
Oh,
These movies are garbage.
They're not garbage. How dare you call Tommy Boy, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles garbage?
Me, Myself, and Irene is outrageous.
It's so funny.
And
it's so unbelievably funny.
Dumb and Dumber is so dumb.
Uh-huh. It's hilarious.
I was embarrassed for a really long time that I didn't like Dumb and Dumber.
One of the hardest times I've ever seen my father laugh is the bathroom scene in the mansion.
Oh my God.
I mean, I thought he might not make it out of the scene alive. I thought he was going to laugh himself to death. So Dumb and Dumber was so good. Those are classics, but there are a lot of those are all good movies.
I haven't seen Me, Myself, and Irene in a long time, but I know that it was outrageous. It was over the top.
Well, yeah, it's Fairly Brothers, so yes, of course, but it's so funny. It's so funny. I'm sure it couldn't get made today. Oh, 100% couldn't get made today. I mean,
No.
100%. It could not get made today, but it's a very funny movie.
You didn't find any like dramedies?
Dramedies?
Yeah, like these are all just like slapstick.
These are ones that I like really thought of. Like,
you didn't like research
I started
it.
to look at the lists, and then I started to roll on it because the list was Green Book and Thelma and Louise. So I started I'm like, that's not what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of like other scenarios. Like there's better ones where there's laughter and it's funny. I actually have never seen Thelma and Louise, so I can't.
I know. I actually am kind of embarrassed that I haven't.
I just know what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I know they're in a
I'm
car
sure
point.
we're missing a bunch of them, but this was just going from memory. I didn't want to.
I thought you researched Padiddle, but you didn't research road trip movies?
I thought that you would have more examples.
Of road trip movies? Yeah, I don't. Not really flowing.
It's like wine, where beautiful women instinctively flock like the salmon of Capistrano.
Yeah. Okay. Scale doesn't matter. Calories don't count. You're going on a road trip that is in a calorie vacuum. And you can select 5 food/snack items. And these are just going to be given to you when you depart. So you can pick these from anywhere. These aren't things that you are going to have to prepare or get from home. So these would be like roadside snacks.
Oh, like I could like drive through a...
Yeah, you could pick something. Oh. So there are things that you'd stop and get. But so you're kind of Mount Rushmore. 5. So give me 5 snacks, 2 drinks.
What is my age? Am I a child or am I an adult?
It depends on how you're behaving.
In this scenario.
You choose.
Okay.
Let's make it present.
Okay. I would definitely get a Jersey Mike sub.
A Jersey Mike sub.
Yeah. I'm not even worried that it might drip a little. I'm getting a Buffalo.
And to be clear, you're road tripping with me, right?
Okay.
Were you picturing yourself in the passenger seat?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Oh. Yeah. I'm not driving across the country. No. Are you serious?
I was clarifying that in your scenario, you weren't holding a steering wheel also while eating.
While eating a drippy sub?
Yeah. Because that's a difference, right? No. There's road snacks as a passenger and there's road snacks as a driver.
Yeah.
A sub is not the easiest thing to eat.
Oh. I'm the passenger.
Yeah.
I was more thinking like, what fast food do I want? I feel like that's always my issue on road trips is that I spend hours trying to find what food is going to be available on the freeway.
Yeah.
And then I usually end up trying to convince you to go off course by like 5 to 10 minutes to get something delicious instead of Burger King.
So I don't know. The difference is I don't get Burger King. I would feed the kids what the kids want to eat, and I know they will eat.
I don't know why I said Burger King.
And
we haven't eaten it at Burger King.
One time we got it in Watertown, New York, on our way to upstate New York, and we got chicken fries, and we were like, why don't we eat this every day? But no, we don't get fast food because I'll just get snacks. I don't like to stop and get food because I don't like those options.
You just make me eat out of a gas station.
Yeah.
Boo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not understanding this assignment because I'm just thinking about all my favorite things I want.
Yeah.
I'm in a car. Obviously, you got to have a candy, so you got to have Milk Duds. I never drink these because I don't ever go inside of a gas station, ever. Literally the only time I go inside of a gas station is on a car trip. Tahitian treat all day long.
Yeah.
And if they don't have a Tahitian treat, strawberry Fanta.
Strawberry Fanta.
But I will go years without drinking them. But that's just what I'll get inside of a gas station.
Got it.
Doritos. I'm not trying to eat any of those gas station sandwiches. No. I don't want one.
Okay. You don't have to have one.
That's what I got. I was supposed to pick 5?
Yeah, you really rambled on. Let me tell you mine. So
Okay.
you can see how it's supposed to be done. So you have to have.
You've had all day to think about it.
I didn't need all day to think about it. I mean, if you paid attention, you'd be able to do it. You know what I get. Do you know what I get?
At a gas station?
For any road trip.
Oh, okay.
Here are the staples. Sunflower seeds first and foremost. Ranch big sunflower seeds. That's gonna carry you through a lot of miles without consuming a ton of calories.
You said calories didn't count.
I know, but I'm just talking practically. But they're also addicting, and you can eat them forever.
Mm-hmm.
If you're an efficient sunflower seed eater, that's the one thing, and you have to be okay with spitting them into a bottle. That's the rough part. Another one that has a downside, but is another key one is beef jerky of any kind. I would go with teriyaki for sure. It smells awful, but it is, again, it's a good one because it's a gnawer. It keeps you busy. These are the ones that keep you going when you're in the middle of North Dakota and you're like, oh my God, nothing has changed. And your eyes start to get lazy. You got to have stuff that keeps you busy. Then you need sugar. So I would always go fruity on that side. I'd go gummy bears or gummy worms. And I'm talking, we're not going Haribo. This is the buy 5 for $2.99 that you're like, I have no idea where that was packaged, but I'm going to eat it because it's, for whatever reason, it's the best, but only on a car trip. If somebody brings it to you at a house, you're like, get that shit out of here. Only in a car. Does it taste good? Then chocolate candy, I'm going peanut butter M&Ms. And the last one, the most important one, is Buffalo Blue combos. Get out of here.
When was the last time you had Buffalo Blue combos?
I haven't been on a road trip in a long time. It's been a long time. It's been a while. No, actually, I think the last time I got them was at the gas station when we were on a road trip back from Chicago. And we were both hungover, and I locked my keys in the car in the middle of nowhere in Wisconsin. We had to wait for AAA for like 2 hours.
That was fun.
Oh, man. But we haven't had a whole lot of disasters like that.
No. I almost got into an accident once. It was dark, it was late, and you were like trying to take a nap, and you like woke up just as I was about to hit. It was like like a fork, and I didn't understand what was happening, and I was gonna go like straight down the middle.
I mean,
so I don't drive.
St. Louis. We were in St. Louis. It was you were.
We were on our way to New York.
Yeah, you were starting the first leg because.
Why were we in St. Louis? Oh, was it when we went from Kansas City?
Kansas City, yeah.
From Kansas City to New York. Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the time when I was also trying to take a nap and you were coming in hot to the Pennsylvania state line toll booth in Erie or something like right on the border of New York. And it was the middle of the night and it was lit up. And I woke up and I'm like, that's really bright. And we are screaming.
What?
I mean,
Who was screaming?
No, you were going 80 miles an hour.
I mean, we were actually screaming.
I've driven it enough to know that it told you to start going 45 a ways back. And I was like, and then you got so mad at me because I scared you. But I was like, I didn't know if you could see it.
Like I was just going to run into it.
But no, we've never had like a serious road trip.
I mean, getting stranded at a gas station for 2 hours.
But it was the middle of the afternoon in Wisconsin. Like we sat at a subway table for a couple hours and hung out.
Yeah, that's true.
It wasn't a nightmare. We've really had good luck that way.
Sorry.
You look so pretty when you yawn. No, the only other, I mean, we had the time but it didn't affect us, but there was a deer in the middle of the road when we were driving to Montana that jumped off the bridge, and who knows what happened to that guy, but that didn't really affect us. But we've never had anything like super devastating happen where it's really like taking a day from the trip because
God, no.
You know what I mean?
Never.
Which I feel like for a trip
My road trips are always perfect.
A trip around the world is pretty lucky. I did once when we were driving to New York and we went through Canada and we were in Toronto, and I feel like it might have been like right around Canada Day, but that feels like it was too early in the year. I don't know what was going on. There's like rush hour on the 401, and we had been pulling an all-nighter, and we left. That was when we were in college. So we left to go to New York at like 6:00 at night.
That was a weird decision.
Well, it was because we would get to the river because we wouldn't stop and pay for a hotel. And so I would just power through the whole way. And we were in Toronto, and it was stopped for like a full minute. And I was just like, and you were sleeping, and all of a sudden it's just horns, and I look up, and there's a car like 200 yards in front of me. I just fucking.
Oh no!
Yeah, we stopped right after that and got out of the car for a little bit. But other than that, other than my awkward interactions at customs when we crossed the border,
every time.
Yeah,
never fails.
But outside of that, we're pretty solid travelers. Though we haven't done a whole lot with the kids. We only did the one long trip that we took probably too early for their ages.
Fine. See, I remember it going perfect.
That's because you don't remember things. I realize that now.
I thought it was perfect. What was wrong?
It was a lot. There was a lot of screaming. Clementine would scream every time that tablet didn't do what she wanted.
I don't remember that.
And you would just decide, I'm going to power off the hearing part of my brain. And then you just say things like, I can't help you, it hurts my neck. I'm just like,
it did hurt my neck.
Just like 3 hours into an 8-hour drive.
It was perfect.
Yeah. No, we do good on road trips. We don't really have troubles.
No.
We've watched a lot of Friends, a lot of Seinfeld, but I was thinking about that. What's interesting is technology evolved and it became easier and easier to watch videos on the road. We stopped and switched over to Audible and audiobooks.
Yeah.
And we really don't watch anything on road trips anymore.
Yeah. We really only did when you had to watch it on a portable DVD player.
You like wouldn't stay on the dash and would slide all over the place. Skip every time we hit a bump.
Dang it.
And if it was bad enough, it'd just go back to the menu. It's like, come on.
We've listened to a lot of really good books.
Yes.
Gone Girl.
Gone Girl.
Sharp Objects.
All of hers.
Yeah, what's
Sharp Objects.
There's another one too.
Gone Girl, and
they made it into a movie, series with Amy Adams. Oh, that was Sharp Objects. No, there was another one with the cult.
Yeah.
Like the devil drawings in the house.
Yeah.
Can't remember what that one was called.
Can't remember either.
Devil in the White City.
Devil in the White City. Fault in Our Stars. Bossy Pants. That was Tina Fey's. We have a lot of David Sedaris. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then we got into podcasts. When you just listen to like Montana. Our Montana trips were like all Radiolab.
So much Radiolab.
We listened to all the Radiolabs.
We did that once on the New York trip. All Freakonomics.
Yes.
Like the whole way.
Yeah.
I think we need to take a car trip.
I know. Well, we are. We're going to Wisconsin Dells.
Perfect.
Well, it's harder with the kids. We need to get them set up so they can both just have headphones on. And then we can listen to what we want to. Right now, it's like...
They have tablets and headphones.
Yeah.
We have all the things to accomplish that.
It's a Thanksgiving miracle. Thank goodness. I'm thankful.
Good. I'm glad.
We'll end on this one. Of the road trips that you can think of, I'm very interested to see how you answer this question. Which is the favorite road trip? Not the destination. Do you get what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
definitely not an overnight. Those overnights were tough.
Mm-hmm.
Pulling over into, at least on the state side, when we would go on stateside gas stations.
Yeah.
In the middle of the night, not fun.
No.
Don't enjoy.
Yeah.
But there was one where I think we must have driven all night because we got into Alex Bay really early in the morning. And it was too early to go to camp.
It was when we left Kansas City. We went all the way through.
Yeah.
We left first thing in the morning. We went all the way through and we got to Alex Bay at like 6 a.m. Yeah. Yep.
And because usually if we're not talking destination, if we're just talking, because my favorite ones are when we turn them into double trips.
Yeah.
Like go to visit Montreal, go to Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
But that's not what you're asking.
Right.
This time our road trip, we got into New York too early to go to camp.
Yeah.
And we had to kill time, but we were already at our destination. And so we went and got breakfast.
Yeah, at that diner.
At a little diner.
Yeah.
And I loved that. It was really fun.
I was so delirious when we were in there. I was so tired. When I get that tired, my skin starts to vibrate.
Ah.
Yeah, like all on the outside. It's like, yeah, it's very. I think my favorite one was when we drove to Winnipeg and I got convinced that a church on the side of the road was the site of a scene from a Guns N' Roses.
Yeah. November Rain, right? You're like, I'm pretty sure that's it. I'm pretty sure.
I'm like, it looks exactly the same. And then we finally got to we had gone out. We got back to the hotel and finally pulled it up on the internet. And like, it came on the screen for a half a second. And I turned it off. I'm like, definitely not. Definitely not it. Definitely not even close. But I was so convinced. But no, I don't know. That trip, that's a fun trip. I think because it's 6 hours is not terrible. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, I think especially for the two of us, just as we start to get stir crazy, like we're getting there. So then we can get weird because we're not going to be in the car much longer. And that's usually when we start jamming. Like that's always the end of our road trips going out to New York. it's warm and we're listening. Like I remember there was one year when it was like Miley Cyrus, like Wrecking Ball, and I think it was like Blurred Lines and Daft Punk. Up all night to this song. Like we had this whole playlist and we were just jamming for like the last 45 minutes on the way in. Those are good road trip vibes. When you're going someplace really fun that you want to be, that's when a road trip is like, man. And then the key is, and I think we've gotten really good at this, is planning a good return trip that extends the vacation.
Yes. Key.
The return trip must
That's where it's at.
Be utilized and considered as a big part of the vacation. And when you do that, it becomes such an easier ease back home. The drive doesn't seem to suck as much. And it just feels more complete.
Here.
So there you go. There's my road trip wisdom.
All right. It's good wisdom.
Anything else you want to talk about?
No.
Thank God. Should we go check on the kids?
Let's go check on the kids.
See you next week, everybody.